fun. Oh, it's going to be another one of those. Got to start playing the intro halfway through. Okay. So I guess we're live. Okay. And the normal intro video should be playing, but it's not. Shut it up now. Yes, stop it. Stop it. Oh, there we go. Now it's.
Well, we're starting right off in the right realm.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is the nerds hanging out being nerds, otherwise known as Everyday.
Anyway, normally we'd be having the opening thing.
Yeah, your timer was already going when you did that.
Yeah, I know. It's part of the thing when the connection's not quite right. Just pretend you saw the Enterprise fly by and make noise, and that's a happy music. So
only once,
yeah,
mind you, because it did it twice over here.
Of course, the outro will play perfectly. So,
well, it's happy to get rid of us. I mean,
yeah, but it was going to be just a general hangout thing, but then Rosetta showed up. Okay, now we can finally do the Star Trek things and get a proper response. Okay. No.
Well, I'm sorry, I have a life right now and I can't be here as often.
I know. It's just going to be, what do we got here? Let's start off with the more simple stuff here. Make sure I don't. Okay. From this Krista Sparza chick again here.
My general opinion is most people can just shut up anyway, so maybe I'm a bitch.
As soon as it switches over. Come on. There we go.
That's okay.
5 questions I get asked as a Star Trek super fan.
Yeah, I'm sure you're a Star Trek super fan.
Well, it's enough time has gone by. It's like, yeah, okay, sure, but
yeah, but I really, really am strict with the phrase super fan.
Yeah, and
because fan already means fanatic, anyways.
Yeah. I mean, in general, like super fan is usually another term for either get a life club. Okay, it's like
yeah, I wouldn't even call myself that. I guarantee you, I'm more of a fan than most of these people that are writing on it now.
Yeah, I could look over there and I can see like how many. There's a half dozen Starfleet uniforms hanging in my closet right now. Okay, different eras.
That I'm too lazy to do because customizing clothes for somebody with my figure is not cheap.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
I had one. It's like back when I was, down about 150, 160. I was just a pullover next gen thing. I had to snug it up. So it looked great. Then life happened.
Yeah, I wasn't referring to the weight. I was referring to my chest.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's the same difference for a guy. It's like, now I can't even get past my armpits. Now it's like, nope.
No, it's not the same difference for a guy. Boobs are far superior to moobs, and they don't require us to be fat to get them.
Anyway, see, why are you so obsessed with Star Trek? That thing.
Because I fucking can. Why do you care?
I wouldn't say obsessed. I mean, I do have other interests.
What is it their problem is? I've never understood people who get on people's cases for their fandoms. It's like, why do you care? Are they involving you in what they're doing? No.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
So it's like, so do you hate Star Wars? It's like, who do you think supported Star Wars when it came out?
I know that whole stereotype. I've never actually met a Star Trek fan that hates Star Wars. I've met ones who don't like it much.
I mean, there are, preferences.
Who are far more obsessed with Star Trek than Star Wars, but I've never actually met one that hates Star Wars. There is a rivalry between the two.
Yeah. I've got
Sure.
a stormtrooper blaster within reach. I got a couple lightsabers back here. I'm working on modifying a dark saber. At Hasbro, trying to make improve things a bit.
How much Star Trek and Star Wars stuff have I shown you that I have over the years?
I've got like 3 lightsabers by my bed. They make handy little night lights. Everything when if something power goes out, we got a light stick. Okay. I hell.
Rest is not working today, so.
Does this look Starfleet to you?
The whole notion that we can only really be fans of one thing. It's like the people who act like we have to have only one show of Star Trek that we're really obsessed with. It's like, no, we don't. Now we all have our favorite show.
Yeah.
We all have the one we're more obsessed with than the others. I'm an original series gal. I love that old show. But I don't have anything against people who are other fans. Although I question the taste of the new Trek stuff.
Yeah.
I don't even have any malice towards them either. If they enjoy it and they're not being assholes about it, fine.
I worry about those who are saying, this is the best Trek. If you don't know anything, you think this is the best. This is,
Well, I mean, just because we're Star Trek fans doesn't mean we're exempt from having bad taste.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
But we should be a little more discerning. We used to be. Okay. So what does your husband think about your Star Trek obsession? How do you think most of these couples met in the first place? It's usually not something that's sprung on them. It's usually the mutual interest is what drew us together in the first place. Okay. Steph and I met because of a Bring Back Kirk effort. Okay.
Me and Steve actually connected and quit having our constant avoidance of each other because little nerd boy didn't want the crazy gothic chick at that point. The reason we ended up connecting is because we ended up in a group full of people in the student union at college just rambling on nerd topics for like 8 hours. And that led us to talking for days straight.
And it's not really a new phenomenon. I think John and Bijo Trimble met because back in in old school fandom through Forey Ackerman. In fact, Forey's the one that gave him the nickname Bijo. Short for Betty Joe.
I don't know why these people act like we can't be like a super obsessive. Me and my husband have always said if we rolled ourselves together, we're the perfect nerd. He is so math and science and computer and technology and engineering brilliance, and I am so literature, mythology, history, culture. We make a perfect nerd together. I'm still talking about. I gotta get my drink filled up.
And it's like, do you ever feel embarrassed about being involved in fandom at your age? Yeah, I referenced Bijo again. She just turning 90 this year. Okay.
I still sleep on a bed covered in stuffies. Do I have any shame in my hobbies?
I'm surrounded by half-built starships, for God's sakes. My screen name is Captain Robert April.
I co-host the Knights of the Anime. I'm not ashamed of my nerd culture at my age.
I want to expand it. That's part of my involvement with the Knights, because I want to expand my knowledge here. Okay, I feel I'm kind of horribly unread in certain realms.
What you need to delve into is the anime sci-fis.
Yeah.
That's where you really need to delve. And you have acknowledged many times, in some ways, I'm more of a nerd than you are.
In certain areas, yeah.
And in a lot of the other ways, we're pretty par. I am nerd girl. Hear me roar, right?
I mean, it's like right over here. I have a large Darth Vader mug. Holds about a quart. It is currently filled with sonic screwdrivers. Okay.
I have a collection of mugs that are made to look like stormtrooper heads. And I use them and talk about the Klingon spirit of drinking from the heads of your enemy. Come on.
This is the key to the TARDIS. Okay.
I mean, talk about combining Star Trek and Star Wars. I'm doing the Klingon thing and drinking from the skulls of my enemy by drinking from stormtrooper mugs. Nerd, right?
Fourth Doctor. I got 2 of these things, 1 for 9, 1 for 10.
Set it to Nerd Factor 8. I mean,
And we got 11. Here's Capaldi's.
it's okay to acknowledge how we are. It's okay.
And Steph has one of these of her own. Third Doctor screwdriver. Okay.
You know, you're really good at not letting me finish my sentence.
Yeah, I was in the middle. All right, I'll keep this one.
No, you really weren't. Not when I started talking.
All right.
About the 5th time I tried to finish it, you were.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is the thing. When he starts going, he doesn't shut up or pay attention to anybody else. And we wonder if maybe Bob might be a little autistic.
Yeah, never know. Under today's definitions, anybody's autistic.
I'd be curious because TJ's got a pretty good radar for spotting other autistic people. I'd be curious what his opinion of you is.
Oh, dear.
I mean, he's the one who keeps saying that he actually thought that Lydian was diagnosed.
I got a TARDIS, USB port over there, which is surrounded by a bunch of various DC action figures laying around. Superman, Batman, like Hawkman. There's Deathstroke down there in the drawer. Got a couple of DB, Aston Martin DB5 Hot Wheels. I got a Batmobile, Hot Wheels Batmobile here. Kind of inspiration for the 1/24th scale or the 1/8 scale I got sitting behind me is going to start up pretty soon.
I'm going to see the difference is I asked that question and I go, I'm going to be evil and find out what he thinks.
And then various Johnny Lightning ships on there, and and I even custom built my own action figure from my character from my comic book, which I'm be lucky to finish before I die.
So I just asked, do you think Nerd and Bob might be autistic as well? He responded, does the Pope shit in the woods?
They broadened the definition so broadly, then it would be funny. Okay.
Well, that really haven't broadened the definitions. They've just learned more about how to detect it and understand it. It really haven't broadened it. That's a misnomer. What it is it was so hard for people to understand and detect that they only thought the extreme cases were.
Must yell at wife. Hold on. What? Hold on. Okay. Next I would do with James Blish, but first I got to deal with a bunch of chopped up sausage here. Oh.
One sec here, guys. Wow. Oh, shit.
Well, blame yourself there.
So now that we've got that settled and fun, okay. See, one of the things I've always loved about Star Trek fandom and nerddom in general is just the wide berth of cultures, ideas, people that it appeals to, that it brings together. Nerddom is a great uniter as long as we do it right. We don't have to all be the same. Hell, we can be very, very weird, fucked up people. Exhibit A walking into here to put his headphones on. And I wonder if he even realizes what I just said about him. I guess he doesn't know what I just said about him.
What did he say?
No, what I said about you.
Okay.
I was talking about how fucked up we can be in nerddom, and then I went, here comes Exhibit A walking into the room to put his headphones on.
Yeah, anyway. Something like, okay, let's discuss Mr. James Blish.
We had a good giggle and laugh at you being as bad as us about info dumping and interrupting.
I'm sure you did. There we go. There we go. Quick little bio here. There's a real good video on it with a little meandering. But he's born in 1920. He did and doing some digging around, and there's one website, tons of fanzines of various genres, not just Star, but one of them is one that Blish did when he was like 14. So he, been 21, so he was been doing stuff for God knows how long, and won a Hugo Award in the 50s. But, it's a case of conscience. It's included themes of religious conversion, question of Christianity, and its possible impact on alien races. Left America in 1964, well, the early 60s, and kept writing. And then 67, Bantam Books got him to sign on to do adaptations of this show back in the States, Star Trek, which he'd never seen. Star Trek didn't start airing in Britain until 1969, so 68, 69. So he was getting like first draft scripts to adapt, and he didn't think too highly. He was slumming it, in his opinion. It was just busy work to pay the bills. And think about it from his perspective. He's a Hugo Award-winning novelist, and he's having to do media tie-in shit of an obvious type of, like space opera thing back in the States. And so he didn't really think too highly of it.
I'm sorry, I just got a response from him. We were talking about the percentages of people we know who are spectrum like us and they're special interesting. I basically say it's almost like having firm obsessive opinions on Star Trek is a criteria and diagnostic. Because I don't know much of any real hardcore Trekkies that don't act autistic.
Yeah.
Literally. It's like almost a part of us. But, I don't mind that.
Yeah. And to point out things like by the time, these adaptations, Star Trek 1, Star Trek 2, they came out during while the show was airing. And they sold very well. It was a tool to sell the show, but then the show got canceled, but they're still selling hotcakes. So, hey, let's keep it going. It's like, okay. Hopefully by the later books, he's getting final draft scripts. So there's less deviation here, but like early ones he's doing, there's wildly different stories going on. He's like Trouble with Tribbles. Sulu is still in it. Chekhov is in there. There's stuff that like some of it's like deleted scenes that didn't make the final thing. Other one's stuff that he just made up on his own. So it's kind of tough trying to sort out what stuff did he make up and what stuff did he pull from a script that didn't get it. By 1970, he wrote Spock Must Die, which is an interesting read. But
yeah.
But it's like also he, died of lung cancer in 78, and his wife was helping a lot towards the end there. And then finally, Star Trek 12 was after he's died, and it's both of them are credited on there. And then the novel Mudd's Angels, which I think was something he was working on, but didn't finish up. She finished it. That's under her name. That was pretty much the end of that particular line. But it's like, well, I hope he'd be remembered most. No, sadly, unfortunately, he's best known for these Star Trek adaptations. It's like, because I was at a used bookstore over on 44th, and having to convince this lady, that's where you got to start. No, that's not where you got to start. He was already a Hugo Award-winning author long before he started doing these.
That is one flaw that some of our community does have, is they get so obsessed with those who work in our books or our culture.
Yeah.
That they kind of have a tendency to diminish what they did besides us.
Mm-hmm.
And you even see it with Roddenberry himself. Everything else before that, people act like he was some new guy when he made it.
Yeah, no, he said frustrated himself. He was a very in-demand writer before Star Trek. And he'd written various genres, mostly westerns, but also cop shows and a few other dramas here and there. But after Star Trek, he got pegged as a sci-fi guy. And he was like,
I think linchpinning people or trying to make them fit all into the same thing is such a big issue in culture and society. And you see it constantly. Look, you got beat up by Ralphie. Look, this and that. It's like actors who are constantly typecast as the same person. People who you can't escape being that character. And even Shatner got quite a bit of it after being Kirk.
Yeah.
It's like there's a point where they start going, I'm more than just this. It's not that I don't love this. I'm not just this. And I've even experienced it in the writing and photography I do. I take a picture and I post it of buildings or fireworks or something. And people are like, you're a nature photographer. It's like, and
like
I'm a nature photographer. That doesn't mean I can't do the others.
Yeah. Like Shatner and Nimoy are such insane workaholics, though. They went back to theater, where they're a little more open.
Open.
Hell, Shatner, I think Shatner was doing summer stock in one. He was like,
that's terrible. I did the open like fabulous. I bet they're open, especially when they're on a date. I mean,
it's like when Jimmy Doohan was on the initial episode of Tomorrow, talking about in producers he had worked with before, doing various sites. Like, well, I don't want a Scotsman. You know damn well I can do more than a Scotsman. You shit. And it's also why you got all of them back for the movies, because nobody else would hire them. Of course, that demanded a very good pay raise.
And I don't know how long I'm going to stick around today because I am still exhausted. But so let's get on to topics.
All right, on to the next one here. Let's see. Where's my cursor? And we'll kind of skip by the one with your favorite person under here.
Oh, no, tell me. Which favorite person?
Well, she's redhead in this picture, but we'll skip it. Well, she's prominent in the episode. That's why it's there. But we'll just
that bitch.
Right. Yes, this bitch. We'll just skip right by it.
No. I want to see which episode they talk about.
Oh, it's the high ground. I mentioned it.
Okay.
And they were doing kind of, freedom fighter terrorist, from the perspective of the freedom fighter / terrorist.
I have noticed since she started trying to call herself a person of color, she quit being as heavy-handed on the red in her hair.
Yeah, but still, sorry. Sorry, Ms. McFadden.
Just because you're not as pale as me when I'm albino doesn't mean you're not white. That'd be quite a distinction, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not quite as white as an albino. See, I'm not a white person.
It's like, yes, pink is a color, but that'll make you a person of color. Okay? But talking about the episode, The High Ground. You remember, that's a group of freedom fighters fighting against this kind of slightly totalitarian government. The Enterprise is trying to deliver medical supplies. It gets hijacked. They kidnap Crusher for a bit, and then they eventually kidnap Picard too. But he goes, "I'm no different than your George Washington." But during the discussion, Data is trying to figure out a strategy here for and he brings up that oftentimes the violence works. Like he cites a few incidents and includes a reference to the Irish reunification of 2024. Now, this was back in the 80s, early 90s. So, again, at that point, who knew? But also, it's a case of that's a very big misread of the Irish situation. Then the troubles are still going on at this point. So, bringing it up at all was not going over well back in Britain or Ireland, for that matter. And part of the thing is that Northern Ireland did not want to be unified with the Republic of Ireland. They liked being a part of Britain. That's part of what the fighting was about. It wasn't Britain not willing to give them back up. No, Northern Ireland liked being British. That's why they're still British. The closest we got is the Good Friday Accords, where they agreed to stop shooting each other.
That's why Carl was pushing buttons so much when he said he believed in one Ireland united under British rule.
Yeah, pretty much.
That was him poking people.
I think it's like, let's say in 1990, this thing's like, no. And it's like, so it did not air on RTE, which is Ireland's main network. It still has not aired on RTE. And when it aired on the BBC, it wasn't until 2007. And even then, they edited out the reference to Ireland. So if you want the entire thing over in Britain, you need to get the DVD or Blu-ray. This here, the actually predict the future in 1994. The IRA and the British agreed to a ceasefire in the Good Friday Agreement. That didn't reunify the country, though, the island. It's like, so it's not the same thing. And let's just say the IRA is not really thought of that highly. And the IRA back in the Michael Collins in the early days when they really were trying to boot the British out of all of Ireland. That's a different thing. The modern version of the IRA is not well thought of, okay? I recommend people look up U2's live performance from Rattle and Hum, where they're doing a live performance of Sunday Bloody Sunday. In the middle, where Bono starts going there. He's tired of people coming up to him, haven't been to the old country in 20 years, talking about the glory of the revolution. And it's fuck the revolution. Where's the glory in blowing up a man sitting down eating dinner with his family, or blowing up a parade of old age pensioners that haven't won no medals in 30, 40 years? What's the glory in that? Fuck the revolution. There's something about a fight that, that back in Ireland, they do not want. And this is a little bit before the Good Friday Accord, but it's like, they were still going on. It's like, no, fuck you. You don't know what you're talking about. Shut the fuck up. Okay, so let's get out of that one. Let's just go straight to the next one here. This one, I take it, this is from Quincy Milton III. The 3 worst Star Trek films, in his not so humble opinion. Let's see.
Lord.
Only, I don't know why I limited to 3, because I'm torn between Nemesis and Section 31 in this 3rd spot. So okay. Get a 4th spot, okay?
I would say both of those belong in the list, actually.
Yeah.
And then just put all of JJ Trek together.
Yeah. Nemesis is for a different set of sins, though. A lot of it is Stuart Baird not bothering to do any homework. Trying to treat, I'm looking at this as the first Star Trek film. You can't do it. It's the 10th, okay? You got a cast that's been together for, God, I don't have to track the number of years, but it's a long time. They know these characters. So, and constantly referring to LeVar Burton as Alien Boy. No, he's just got weird eyes. Not an alien. It didn't go over well, okay?
Well, Burton may have over-exaggerated, but he did deal with bigotry on that set that was documented.
Yeah.
So that's like, did he over-exaggerate it for attention some?
Yeah.
I'm pretty positive of that, but...
Yeah, the extras are, the extras features on the it's like, I don't think Stuart Baird's even in there. Maybe once in a while, but a lot of it's like, just kind of gentle digs. Like Patrick Stewart, you can't treat this like it's the first one. It's a part of a series. It's, I mean, there's some interesting points. They're introducing the Remans and stuff like that, but it's like, there's some serious jumps in logic there. It's like, why would the Romulan Empire clone Jean-Luc Picard? And if they consider the time span involved, Jean-Luc was not a big deal. He was just another captain in the fleet. And it also, when this movie tanked, it damn near took Tom Hardy's career with it. You know, he's lucky to survive it. Stuart Baird has not directed a film since. I think he's gone back to editing, which is where he belongs. But it's like, what? It's like wasted Dina Meyer putting her underneath like 5 pounds of prosthetics. You know, unless you knew it, you wouldn't recognize her. And the whole mental, you know, SA scene with Deanna. It's like, really? No. It was just not necessary. And just the idea, if you're going to have a clone of Picard, how about getting someone who looks like Patrick Stewart? Like either have Patrick Stewart in a dual role, which on a movie budget is easy, you know, or get really creative, bring in Ben Kingsley. What difference is there? And Kingsley's enough of a geek; he'd do it in a heartbeat.
Ian McKellen could easily fill that role.
Could have been.
They could actually look and sound a lot alike in some of their footage.
But Kingsley would be fun.
I personally think McKellen would too, actually. Yeah. I'd be happy with either playing that part much better than what they got.
Well, also I think because there was when Craig Kilborn was still hosting the Late Late Show and doing the 5 questions thing. And the last question with Ben Kingsley on there. True or false? You've been, you know, people have stopped in the street saying, Mr. Stewart, I love your work and starts with the Next Generation. And he said, it's true. It's like, you know, again.
Well, I just looked at, you know, Stewart and McKellen, friends for decades. They worked together on all kinds of stuff, and they have a very similar facial structure, build, and voice. They could pass off as each other if they tried.
They really hadn't worked too much until X-Men. I mean, they were in there. So
that is decades now. Think about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, yeah. Until then, though, they really hadn't worked too much together. Their time in the RSC was not that much.
I know, but I'm saying, but even in that time, they've been working together on several projects. They were close friends. But that would have been better than what they got. You could at least believe it if you did it right.
There's a Kingsley. You could tack in Academy Award winner Sir Ben Kingsley. You know. Now, I wonder how well Kingsley could do an imitation of Stewart, but they were in the RSC together too.
Well, and
what physical differences?
To be 100% clear and 100% fair, I do not blame the actors of the modern Trek for modern Trek.
No.
Unless they're out there bashing people and saying they want all this woke crap, I don't blame them. I blame the writers. Oh, there's a lot of actors who came up out of these modern Trek stuff. I actually like as actors. I think they sucked in those roles, but
I provoked a reaction out of Bob Picardo.
Well, he can go suck.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's where I take this list.
I liked deep breath. I liked the Doctor. I was happy to see the Doctor back then, but he is such a fucking dick.
You've gone on about the stock market. The stock market reacts. It's what the stock market does. Give it a week, it'll be record highs. It's crushing. Nothing is steady with them. Get a fucking break. Take it. We have a latte and shut the fuck up. Anyway, listing Star Trek motion picture. No. In fact, this is probably the one that's aged the best out of the whole list, especially when you finally watch the finished version, known as the director's edition, where they actually put some of the character stuff back in, trim up a few things here and there, and it's finished finally. To get away from the theatrical cut, that is a rough cut. It has been, part of the longest test screening in motion picture history, basically. And that's something that, they kind of skip on by when they were doing the first DVD release, and they wanted to, they needed to have, Robert Wise's involvement. And it's something that was brought up at the time, but not, later on they glossed over. But his contract for doing the movie in the first place, back in 77, 78, 79, was that he had final cut, which he never got. Every movie he's ever done, he's been guaranteed final cut, and they did not let him get the final cut on the motion picture. So it's been and was sticking in his craw all those years. So when they finally go, we're going to do it direct, we're finishing the damn movie. It's in my contract, and you're going to honor that contract.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where he got, the first DVD in 2003, that was basically a proof of concept. This is what we wanted to do. And even then, it wasn't considered completely finished. It was like 98% finished at that point. Okay, this is what we want to do. And then the quest began, okay, now can we, because Blu-ray wasn't a big deal at the time. It was coming along, but it wasn't quite the big. And so a lot of it's been just sort of, it's like, okay, when do we get to finally finish this? Because it was only, the effects are only done up to standard resolution. And the goal has always been to get it, not just Blu-ray, but feature quality resolution. That's why there's a 4K version out there. They can take this thing into the movie theater, put it up on the screen, and it'll look just as good. That's the thing, to finally finish it. And Red Letter Media did a re-review, kind of a re-review. They went back, okay, and finally, and guys, this is my favorite one, probably. Yeah. It works now. And they did, squabble a bit about some of the things that they cut out, like, when from the first one where it's like Kirk has to tell Uhura twice, view her off at the Epsilon 9 thing. And Chekhov saying, well, ultimately, some of the stuff was in there because we don't know how well the effects are going to sell yet. We have nothing to go by. So add a little thing of extra thing. It's like, if you're off, it's like, upside, this is supposed to be a horrible thing. When you do the final cut, that's the stuff that gets snipped out when you're, okay, it covers fine. We don't need that. So we don't need Chekhov saying we're out of it when okay, stars, we're fine. We're out of it. We don't need a reassurance. And then tightened up a few things. I think the cloud sequence is a little bit shorter. You got proper sound effect in there. And just stuff like that. Where it's like, if you want, and also finally Paramount stopped pushing the theatrical cut and now it's pushing the director's version as the official version now. So no, I do not agree with Star Trek Motion Picture being on this list. And Final Frontier as the worst? No. Not by a long shot, especially now.
We really need to get
5 was a misstep, but it's a one and done and can be easily ignored. Especially if you take the attitude I got, it's just a ghost story told around the campfire. After a few too many helpings of that secret ingredient in McCoy's beans. And I can argue that because the story gets weirder and weirder as they go along, as they get drunker and drunker. So, like I should actually send the, I need to Shatner. It's like, how about this? It's like, and put it out with a drunken audio commentary track of background of McCoy and Kirk telling this story around the campfire with Spock. The Vulcan has no worthy. Shut up, Spock. We're telling a story. Go on, Jim. Because where's it end? Back at Yosemite, around the campfire. A little more sedate, as in getting over a hangover. I mean, ultimately, the best way to watch a movie is the MST3K fan film version, where Joel and the bots are watching it in the Satellite 11 making the jokes.
Yeah.
Have I forced you to watch that one yet?
As I was saying, and yes, I'm not talking as much. A, I'm letting Bob ramble because he's really good at that. And B, I am sorting photos and editing photos right now.
Oh, okay.
In fact, let me send you the
Okay.
because I set up a threads for doing most of the photo work because Instagram limits the shape too much of the photos usually, but Threads doesn't, and it still connects to all the Instagram stuff. There. That's one I just finished taking care of.
Okay.
It's in private.
Alrighty.
I'm working.
Okay, down there we go, and there, and there we go. Oh, let's blow this up. And
I think that's a good picture.
let's put that up for everyone to see. You look at baby. What? Come on. Why the hell?
Mama and baby, right?
Not showing. Yeah. It's not showing.
That was in 2019.
There we go.
That was early photography work for me. I think I do a pretty good job with my work.
Okay, yeah. Certainly helps when they pose. You know?
And Iowa's just run rampant with white-tailed deer. We got multiple types over here where I'm at with my mom, but over there, it's all whitetails. The thing is, the whitetails in Iowa are much redder furred than the ones in South Dakota. I'm sure it's just adapting to the area they live in. But it does make it interesting. So, yes, I'm sorting and organizing and working. I definitely had a lot more failed shots when I was starting. Oh, look at the baby.
All right.
Let's see if I can actually make that one come out good. Who's a little baby? That thing looks so tiny on the road there. Like, I don't want to zoom on that one too much. Seeing the road and the gravel around it shows you how tiny it really is. See, I can be a multifaceted nerd easily. Can't I?
Oh, yeah. Let's see if we can get Sinead to get in here. It's only about 11 something in there.
You're going to keep trying, aren't you?
I'm going to get you on.
I do very much laugh every time somebody says it's so fake. It's like, yeah, right.
Yeah. It doesn't quite work that way.
No, especially since, do you think I would be sitting there faking ticks in my mom's Bible study group in church?
No.
So why does her pastor know I have Tourette's? Right?
Yeah.
This one is such a tiny baby. I have to send this one out. One sec. It's so tiny. Oh my gosh. One sec. I'm going to post it on the threads there so you can easily find it. That's just the easiest way now that you have that link.
All right.
It's posting right now. Give me just a minute.
All right.
Nature photography and post. That one's so tiny in the roadway. Look at the account.
Oh,
Look at that baby.
where are we? There you are. Let's see. That and this one here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Little thing in the dirt road, isn't it?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
You look at because dirt roads are tiny little rocks.
Oh, yeah.
When you compare the spots are about the size of the rocks, you can tell that thing's just an itty bitty boy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love my work. I know some people probably think I'm nuts, but I love it so much. Oh my gosh.
Good buddy.
And I'm just right now posting some photos threads because I can't. Yeah, I talk shit, just deal with it. I mean, I'm a good girl.
Oops.
I'm just going to drop several photos. Oh, my recent robin shot. I love my recent robin shot. Just as you can tell, it was in that kind of day. A lot of the gold was on in his feathers.
Yeah.
It's an almost antique-ish glow. But it's also highly detailed.
Yeah. Where are we going here? Is there another picture in there?
I'm dropping photos.
Okay. Nope. Hold on. Let's get on this one here. So we got a Robin, a Banner, and whoops. A Minky. Oops. Is there a particular picture of you were looking for here? Or,
Sorry, I wasn't looking over there. Yeah, those are all my pictures here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
What do you think?
Lights, trees. Tatanka, little Tatanka. Minky.
Chimpy. That's a chipmunk.
Yeah.
Not chipmunk. I mean,
yeah, chimpanzee.
Chimpanzee.
Yeah.
And then got this, and I'm already posting more because I'm trying to get a few up today.
Yeah.
Well, I have the moment. Because I need to, and I like to, and I got to put my pictures as I do. And that one has to go up, and
Sinead just posted a picture before to like how thick her hair was before. The damn every doctor who's giving it to vulnerable and custody.
And the thing is, right now, I'm kind of dropping several of my recent photos. Ta-da. I think that's enough for now. I'll come back in a bit. Make sure you sign in there and give some likes so I can get my stuff to have more attention.
Yeah. Let's, can you post a link to your channel there? Or? Here. Let's see. Get over to my channel. Again, I'm kind of in a dodgy connection, so things are running very slow. So it's going to be either this or, another attempted Fortnite stream, which we watch me on at the computer half the day.
Yeah, I think we'll go wrap things because my brain's like pop.
Okay, well, we've covered
I'm
all.
working
Yeah.
hard. I'm working hard.
I'll post a link in the description later and dig it up. So.
Oh, did you see the last one I shared, the baby bison?
Hold on.
I'll put it up. Don't worry. I'll put it up because this is one of my recent ones.
All right, let's see. Let's pull that.
It's up on the screen.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Look at the stream.
There we go. Okay. Here you go.
What do you think?
Whoops. Damn it. Stop that.
It's on the stream here.
I'm just pulling mine. Okay.
You don't need to. I already screen shared it.
It's not showing up on mine. Hold on.
Okay, then you go look on it. We'll just leave the screen share up. Your system's being stupid.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Bad.
So, and we're resorting to other means.
Cute baby. Cute baby.
Let's put up that in there. And get past the commercial.
Poor Bob.
You got Morgan Freeman. Okay.
His system sucks.
Do I have to use the skip one of these? Come on. There we go. Skip. There we go. Oh, okay. Well, now it's on mine too. All right. It took long enough.
Isn't it cute?
Yeah. Cute little red dog. Yeah.
Red dog.
Mm-hmm.
People go, oh, don't you want to grow up and have adult interests? It's like, I am sleeping on a bed covered in weighted blankets and stuffies.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't.
Well, remember the instructions of the Forest Service. Do not try and pet the fluffy cows. Mm-hmm. So yes, they are related to cows, but they're not nearly as docile. In fact, even just regular cows is probably a dumb idea, okay?
That's not probably is. It is.
Yeah. But wild animals, like, no. Very dumb. Yeah. Read a little history, about what happens when a buffalo herd stampedes, okay? The entire state shakes, okay?
Mm-hmm. They are vicious animals.
Mm-hmm. And well, no, you cannot. We've kind of passed the days where one herd can cover, 3 states, 3 western states, which are basically quite to about half the eastern seaboard. But, yeah. They're making a comeback.
Oh, we've been working at it.
Yeah, I think they're at least sustainable numbers now. Yeah, I think we'll wrap it at this point here. I might do a Fortnite stream later, depending on if things behave, or I just got to do something up.
Remember, folks, never decker with an unwrapped pecker.
Mm-hmm. And discuss the upcoming Star Wars thing. I might peek on Chapter 6 just to get a look at the Death Star up in the sky as it approaches. But I think we will just pull it there. So, with the nice cheery looking doggy there, we will talk at you later.
Mm.